Hey guys, hello again. In this video we're going to be covering the effect hook. Now if you look at the documentation for hooks on React.js, you'll find a pretty long page, and it's a very long page. I happen to have read through the entire page, and look, you're at your liberty to read it by yourself. I don't care. But from what I could deduce, there's two things you really have to know, and I'm going to cover them both here. But before I cover them, let's review the state of the application as it was the last time we left off. We had a button, and every time you hit it, the count would be updated. We had created a traditional React class. We're going to get rid of it this time. Okay, beautiful. And I know what useEffect does, but again, I'm a big fan of learning through examination, so it appears I've got a very nice plugin that lets me do this. Beautiful. useEffect. I think useEffect has to be imported so that the error goes away, like so. Perfect. I'm going to write a console statement here, and I say in the effect statement console log, and I want to see the time when we are in the effect statement to UTC string. Okay, there seem to be a few more arguments over here. We're gonna deal with them later, I promise, and I'm commenting them out so that I am held accountable. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's see when this little function is getting called. Refresh. Oh, Command Option I. I want a bit of I want a word break. I want a space. Refresh again. Okay. In the effect statement, Sunday 27 December 18:53:50. So when the page is first loaded, the effect is called. Perfect. When I hit me, the effect is called again. Okay. So far we can deduce that use effect is called when the page is, or when the functional component is first rendered. Oh, there's no space here. Control C, and useEffect is called when a state property changes. I say state property, but what I'm really talking about is the React hook here. Right, so when the value of count changes, this particular thing changes. And to make sure that this is indeed the case, let's try passing the same count value in setCount, and therefore the value of count should not change. Right, refresh, call once here, hit me, nothing, right? Because although we're calling setCount, because the value of count itself is not changing, useEffect is not getting called. Perfect. Well, let's do something else. Instead of using just one count, let's use a second count. Alright. And we'll call this second count. Right. And we'll call this set second count. Camel case always. Beautiful. And when the button is clicked, we're going to update both. This looks a bit messy to me. Okay, all good. We're gonna update count, and we're gonna update set second count, and we'll set this at second count plus 1. Nah, this is not how I want it. I want it a little differently. I'm going to create a second button. I created a second button, and set second count is going to be called inside this button's click handler. Okay. Now we're going to refresh. So far so good. Insert a line break, and I call this hit me twice. Perfect. Refresh, and another line break maybe to give me a bit of space between the two buttons. Okay, perfect. The below button was hit one time, twice. Okay. If I hit me twice, watch the console here, guys. If I hit me twice, the same effect statement is getting called, and I know that the effect function will be called when a state property changes. But what if I want the effect function to be called only if count changes, and I don't want it called when second count changes? Or maybe I want one particular effect being called when count changes, and I want a different effect being called when the second count changes. How do I implement that? And that's where we come to this argument that we spoke about earlier. I want this function to be called when count changes. So in the count effect statement, I can write multiple effects, by the way. There's no problem with that. And I want this effect statement to be called when the second count changes. Right? In the second count effect statement. And now we're going to hit refresh. And as you'd expect, both the effect statements are called as soon as the page is rendered. So we're going to write a new learning point here. useEffect is called, rather, all of the useEffect are called when the functional component is first rendered. Beautiful. Okay. Now let's try hitting hit me in the count effect statement. So we can filter these effect statements to run only when a particular state property changes. Similarly, if I had hit me twice, the log statement is going to say in the second effect statement. Perfect. What else do we have to know about hooks? There is the cleanup. So you see here that we have a log statement, but I can always say return a particular function, console.log. What do I want done here? Console.log component removed. My second screen's gone. I don't know why. So this particular function is run every time a component is dismounted from the page. How do I show you an example of a component dismounting? I'm not sure I can think of any example on the fly. Essentially, this is all you have to know about React hooks. And if you look at the documentation, it says similar to component did mount and component did update, and we showed a demonstration of that by updating count, and we also showed a demonstration of this function being run when the component was first mounted. So far so good. It also does the job of component will unmount. Where do they mention that? There you go. If you're familiar with React class lifecycle methods, you can think of useEffect as component did mount, component did update, and component will unmount. Component will unmount is essentially encapsulated in the function that is returned in your useEffect. And that's it, guys. That's all there is to know about useEffect. And I'll see you all in the next video.